Welcome everyone to this video. In this video, we'll be looking at how to remove any object's background using the quick selection tool. This video will be divided into two parts. So we'll be discussing how to remove any object's background on 4 images, and we'll be discussing on the first 2 images in this video. So now let's start. So to select, we'll have to go to the quick selection tool. So I'm just gonna right click here, and then here it is, the quick selection tool, and here it is, the quick selection tool. Here you can see when I click on this tool, it gives me a brush. So if your brush is a little bit too small or a little bit too large, you can just increase or decrease the size with the left square bracket key or the right square bracket key. So if you click on the right square bracket key, it will increase the size, and if you click on the left square bracket key, it will decrease the size. Or you can just go here, click on this arrow, and then just adjust the size. But mostly in this course, I'll just be using the square bracket keys. So now let's adjust the size to be about this, and now let's just click, and I'm just dragging here. So you can see Photoshop is just making a selection as I go, and it has made a very good selection. And now if we just make a mask, here you can see we have removed the background, but there are some imperfections. Here you can see if I zoom in, we have still some blue background traces. So how can we deal with that? So what can we do is, let's just undo. So Control Z, and before making a mask, we can go to Select, Modify, then Contract. So we can tell it by how much pixels we have to contract the selection, because if we contract it, it will not select that blue background, which it is right now. So I'm just gonna contract it by 10 pixels. I have tried and it works with 10 pixels. I'm just gonna hit OK, and here you can see it contracted the selection right here. And now if we make a mask, here you can see there is no blue background anywhere, and we can see this by just making a solid color adjustment layer of white color. And I'm just gonna move this layer, and you can see now there is no blue background, and we have removed the background of this image. And now let's move on to the second image. So now let's move on to the second image. So we have this image, and I forgot to tell that if you want to use these exact same images, the links will be in the description below. So now we'll do the exact same process that we did before. We'll go to the quick selection tool right here, and I think this brush size is okay. So I'm just gonna drag from his face to neck, and just gonna select, and it has made a perfect selection. So if I just make a mask, you can see it perfectly removed the background, but it took some time. Well, not in this case, but usually when you are manually selecting something, it takes some time. So we have a much faster solution for this, which is Select Subject. Here you can see right here. So what this button does is that if we click on it, Photoshop's algorithm will try to make a selection on its own, and 99% of the time it makes an almost perfect selection. So I'm just gonna undo. So we can find the Select Subject button whenever we are on either magic wand, quick selection, or object selection. So right now I am on a quick selection tool, and here you can see I have this button, Select Subject. And now so I just wanted to say that we can click here on Select Subject, or we can go to Select and then Subject. So now let's go to Select and then Subject. And here you can see it gave a perfect selection. So I can now just mask it out. And here you can see we did this in almost like 2 to 3 seconds. It made a selection and then we can mask. It works really well, but it just got introduced in the newer versions of Photoshop. And if you have an older version like CS6, CS7, I don't think this option will be on your version and you'll just have to do manual selecting. But you can see that also works really great. And this was it for part 1, and in the next part we'll be looking at the other 2 images and what complexities we can have while selecting subjects. So I'll meet you there.